Now we're really seeing more and more mainstream platforms adopting NFTs. Like last week we talked about Spotify. The week before we talked about Netflix again.
And we also talked about Instagram. And
to me, this is going to be a part of our daily lives. Everything you watch, all the content you consume, there's going to be some kind of interactivity that's going to be incorporated. Welcome to another episode of the Decogged podcast. Today, we're going to start off with a topic about Love, Death, and Robots. I'm not sure if you guys have seen Love, Death, and Robots. It's a pretty good show. I would highly recommend people to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, if you're into CG and you haven't seen Love, Death, Robots, what are you even doing?
I know. It's such a good show. Even the first, second season was okay. First, I really liked.
Yeah, first season.
Third one is really good too.
Yeah. I think there's definitely first season was just it was so new, it was so fresh. There's so many episodes, so much to go through.
Exactly.
And then
I think it's like the adult animation, which is great. That really opened the doors, I think, to mainstream. Yeah. To the mainstream folks or mainstream audience, animation is not just for kids.
Yeah, it's not just for kids. The stories you can tell that are animated that you just can't tell live action.
Exactly.
And I feel like they did, that's what Love, Death, Robots does so well. It's it tells stories that is you can only do in CG. I mean, there's ones that I watch that I'm like, why didn't you just film it? Why didn't you just film this?
Yeah.
This would have been so much easier if you just filmed. But then there's others which are like, oh no, you have to do this in CG. There's no other way.
Yeah.
So,
and I think every episode is a different style. That's also very cool. You don't need to follow. You can just start at any episode.
Yeah, you can start at any episode. Yeah. I mean, I still watch it all chronologically.
Yeah. But for people who have don't care about that stuff, you can watch it at any point. Firstly, watch the show. Secondly, it's interesting because Netflix. This is the second time we've heard them combining NFTs with one of their shows. So first was Stranger Things.
Yep.
And then now they actually have a scavenger hunt in this Love, Death, and Robots series.
Yeah.
So apparently there's 9 different hidden QR codes where you can collect 9 separate artwork of the series. Wow. So it's that's pretty fascinating. 9 pieces of art, 9 codes.
And then how is there unlimited supply? Does everybody who finds the QR get an NFT?
But it's a limited time. So I guess they close that link after a certain period.
Has that link closed? Because I'm curious. I want to go through and collect these NFTs.
I don't think so yet, but I can see how this could be. It's really cheap right now as well. So it's actually free, except you have to pay for the gas fee.
Right. It seems like it's only limited to people who are based in the US who have a Coinbase or MetaMask wallet.
Exactly.
But, so it's on Ethereum, which is interesting. That they decided to choose Ethereum.
Yeah.
Despite all the concerns about
gas
environmental, gas fees, environmental concerns. I guess they clearly see Ethereum as an important a chain, as one that will persist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious what their thought process was when they decided on the chain, but it is
maybe because of the dApps. I feel like
I guess it's probably the most mature one. It's the safest one, right? If you release it on God forbid, Luna, for example.
Exactly.
It's probably over now, right? So I think it was maybe out of just a longevity decision that they decided to release it on Ethereum.
Maybe it's even though maybe that's the price of gas and whatever, all the negativities that come up with ETH. That's maybe just they see it now as the cost of doing business, because if you had something like Luna happen,
exactly,
you might as well fork out that money.
And I think every other chain will be at some point interoperable with Ethereum. It's just a matter of time, right? Because there's such a big ecosystem, and if you want users to kind of go onto your new chain, you kind of have to be interoperable somewhat with Ethereum. So maybe they decided that's going to be the longest term play. So they're releasing NFTs on ETH, which makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, how interesting is this? Because it's now we're really seeing more and more I guess mainstream platforms adopting NFTs. Like last week we talked about Spotify. The week before we talked about Netflix again, and then now again Netflix.
Yeah. And we also talked about Instagram and
So what does this mean? I guess for for the general consumer and artists in general, because to me this is going to be a part of our daily lives. It's almost like everything you watch, all the content you consume, there's going to be some kind of interactivity that's going to be incorporated with it.
Yeah, I think so. And I guess like, right now there's a lot of backlash against it from like certain groups, just certain people, just like very anti NFT vitriol.
Even more so now, or
I think it's just actually maybe more so now in a more it's kind of like very polarizing, right? Like you either really hate it or you really love it, or you just don't understand and you haven't made up your mind. So but there's very little, I feel like, in between ground right now. But at some point it's gonna be evident whether you hate it or like it, you're gonna have to
adopt it.
Yeah, you have to interact with it at some point, because I think so much will be built around that whole technology.
Yeah, it's almost like that's what it feels like right now with these companies. Like last week we talked about, like with Spotify, right? They were actually pressured into because of the musicians.
I mean, this is just a speculation. I mean, I don't know if it's actually the musicians who are behind this kind of thing, or if it's just Spotify themselves deciding like we want to get ahead of the curve and try to do it. But
I think it's a bit of everything. I think right now people are trying to see whether it would be silly not to try it out, I guess.
Yeah, I think everyone's testing the waters, and like Netflix is no exception. I think they're trying to do it in fun, creative ways, like with the QR code, which is a very NFT kind of the NFT space sort of thing to do, is to put the Easter eggs as QR codes.
Yeah. Personally, I'm not a big like, as in when I'm watching something, I'm too lazy to go hunt for QR codes necessarily, but I can see how that could be a fun thing to do, and you get to collect something of value.
Exactly, and I think it's almost like it's a good way to get a lot of rewatch, because maybe one thing about Love, Death, Robots is maybe it doesn't have the best rewatch value a lot of times, because you kind of watch the short and you rarely ever go back and rewatch it, whereas something like a Marvel film or whatever, like you kind of want to go back sometimes and rewatch certain bits, and just to kind of refresh your memory before you watch the next film. Love, Death, Robots is so
insular.
Yeah, it's so insular. It's so like atomic, where every little thing is just like in its own little island. So there's no real reason to go back and rewatch a lot of the stuff. Maybe Black Mirror is like a lot of the same thing, but Black Mirror it's
very
Black Mirror is
different.
It's so conceptually challenging that you sometimes want to go back just to revisit the concepts and to think about stuff. Whereas I think Love, Death, Robots is a little less so that. It's more visual eye candy. So once you kind of consume it once, maybe the rewatch value isn't as high, but this kind of gives it like more rewatch value, just putting QR codes in there. So you watch it through once just to kind of get through, the story and everything. And then you watch it again, just to kind of try to find these QR codes. But then maybe there's a separate, like, another layer of appreciation that you gain from it. It's like, watching the quality, like all the effort that they're putting in all these little different parts.
I mean, I do find it interesting that me personally, I do think that Love, Death, and Robots, it's not as it's along the same lines as Black Mirror.
Like being an anthology. I think that's as much similarity as they have, to be honest.
But like, to me, there's like these conceptual, there's these strong ideas in both series. But I think in Black Mirror, it's very evident what that idea is and what they want to talk about. But with Love, Death, and Robots, it's a bit more abstract. It's almost like your search, like it's very like you said, eye candy. It's more towards that artist side, whilst Black Mirror, it's more towards the philosophy.
Yeah, it's definitely more
ethics,
towards
morals. Like
yeah,
that kind
exactly, yeah.
of situation.
And I think maybe that's why people love Black Mirror so much, is because it's like it's asking all these like really hard questions,
moral decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Love, Death, Robots, I honestly feel like in terms of like just true substance, there's not a lot going on, like in terms of like depth of what's going on, because I mean this, like the probably the most substance was
these
in
guys.
no actually these guys, I felt like it was a bit too obvious, like what they were saying. It's just like I didn't like it actually, this
these three
characters. So the first episode of season 3, actually I wasn't that hot on. I mean, I could see that what they're trying to do is they're trying to put more meaning behind the art itself, but I just think it's too obvious. It was just too out there. Whereas I think the less obvious ones are actually a lot more challenging. Like there was an episode in this one where it was on Io, the moon of Jupiter, I believe it was. That one I feel like was much more conceptually challenging, because it asks so many different questions about like intelligence and how do you define intelligence. Like our definition is completely different and possibly like the true definition of intelligence. But yeah, so that's way more like challenging to me. But
I guess that's the difference between Black Mirror. I feel like every episode in Black Mirror has that very solid.
It's built like the entire like thesis of Black Mirror is to like challenge technology, right? Like challenge our perception of technology. Yeah. So
whilst Love, Death, and Robots, it's like
sporadic.
Sporadic.
I think the whole thesis of this is just to make it look really cool. Yeah. And have love, death, or robots in there. And that's literally the theme for the entire series. And if you get any bonus philosophy out of it, then great. But if you don't, then it doesn't matter, right? So.
Yeah, because to me, I think more about these episodes than I do with other animated shows, because I do think there's some ideas that are pretty abstract. Like, for example, I mean, this is getting to more art. Like, we're talking about reviewing this now. There's episodes where I'm thinking, oh, this doesn't really make sense, this episode. But why did the director choose to go down this or tell this story? Yeah. And then it makes me think, what kind of message is he trying to send? Right. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I honestly don't think they even thought that deeply about it themselves. Yeah. Which scares me, because it's like
you're just releasing shit.
Yeah. You spent so much time making it look pretty, but if you didn't really think about what you made, then like,
what's the point?
Yeah. What's the point? But again, I don't think that's the purpose of this series. It's just to make things look cool. Yeah. And I think just coming back to the NFT thing, it helps give the series like a second life, I guess. It gives more meaning to rewatching the series, even if it's just certain parts of it. But I think there's so much like artistic direction put into all these episodes, and maybe that's the idea, is just to make an artistically amazing series where every series just looks like beautiful, right? And I think it's actually a great way to get people to appreciate it more, by having to rewatch it again and not think about the story part and whatnot, and just appreciating it for the art, because you'll be looking around for these QR codes and you'll see like all the little details and all the effort that's put into every single shot, the lighting and stuff. You'll notice all this stuff more when you rewatch it for a second time. So
I think that's a great thing for us artists, because we put so much time into this. Yeah, it'd be great for people to really look into it. We call it pixel effing. Really look into it and see whether, because you're looking for something, it's almost like you get to just by osmosis, just because you're doing and convenience, you're looking at these details that all these artists spend a lot of time doing. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's great. I think it's in terms of practical use, I don't think there's much, but as long if it's a way to promote art, I'm all for it, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, let us know what you guys think. Next topic, we're going to talk a little bit about Seth Green. For all you people who don't know who Seth Green is, he used to be he's been an actor for a long time.
Yeah.
He's on famous TV sitcoms back in the day. And then he has his own animation company.
Yeah.
Right. He writes his own animation content. He recently, in these past few months, he bought a BAYC.
Yeah.
Right. So for an X amount of dollars, and everybody knows how expensive BAYC is now at this point. But recently he got his BAYC stolen.
Yeah.
And through a really silly, in a really silly sort of way, just from he wanted to mint something, went to a phishing site.
So he got scammed.
He got scammed.
He got.
So that's
someone that you would think would have more be more careful.
Exactly, especially when you're a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned, actually you should go into the
finer details.
Yeah, what he's trying to do with his BAYC.
Yeah, so he's been trying to release, I think, a new animated show. But the problem is, why this story becomes interesting is because this animated show is going to be, it involves his BAYC character, which got stolen.
Yeah.
So now, the question is, can he even make the show? Because he doesn't own the rights to this character anymore.
Yeah.
The person who scammed it off him does, or whoever he sold, or whoever the scam artist sold the bait to, whoever that person is, now they own it, right?
Yeah.
And now this is interesting because he can't technically make the TV show.
Yeah,
or else he could get
legally
sued.
Yeah, he doesn't have the legal rights to use a character.
Exactly. So
I mean, that's just crazy to me because
yeah,
what do you do at this point? If I was in his position, I'd probably just not make the show,
Well, yeah, you would have to change your character. You buy a new BAYC and you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's the only way, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I mean that's already a lot of money already spent just just buying another BAYC just to do.
Yeah, because it's it's a few million, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a big investment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how far along he is with doing his BAYC show, but it's just crazy to think yeah, that's why you guys got to be careful out there. I mean,
exactly.
There's scams left and right, and if you're minting stuff and you already own NFTs, you should probably do the minting from a separate wallet. Yeah, where you don't have all that exposure.
Honestly, I feel the more I think about it, the more that's the safest way to go.
Yeah.
Just transfer it to a different wallet.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like when you're leaving the house, you don't take your whole bank account worth of money with you.
Yeah.
Because if somebody robs you on the street, you're screwed. It's the same concept. You only withdraw as much money as you need.
Exactly.
For whatever you're doing. Right?
Yeah, so. This many scams is just not worth it, and you have to always log into Discord channels and different channels. I mean, we always disconnect, even in OpenSea.
Yeah.
Once I log in, I do what I need to do. For example, I'm minting something on Polygon or something. Afterwards, I disconnect the connection.
Yeah.
I just don't want anybody to infiltrate.
Yeah.
My,
exactly.
My Coinbase account.
And I think that's a smart way to do it. And honestly, if I had something as valuable as a BAYC, I would probably tie it to a ledger or something, where it's you have to physically be there in person with my ledger in order to scam me, unless I do something stupid like mint on a scam, like a phishing website.
Yeah.
But, at that point, it will be in cold storage. I wouldn't even touch the BAYC. But, some people like to wear their BAYC as their NFT Twitter profile.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a different story as well.
Well, if that's the case, I would do like you said, I'd do the transactions in a separate
do it on a separate account.
Yeah.
Like a separate wallet. I mean, with NFTs, with crypto wallets, I mean, you can just make as many wallets as you want, so you don't have to.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's it doesn't cost anything to make a new wallet, so you can literally make all the wallets you want. So
yeah, so now Seth Green is in a situation where he was telling Yuga Labs to sort of
to do something.
or like try to get back and don't do anything, where like, don't let people sell it or transact, like make transactions. But you can't do that.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. They don't have control over your NFTs.
There's not centralized thing. That's the whole
that's the whole point of Web3 is like, there is no centralization. Like they can't block you from selling something or from buying something. Like all they can do is like just
actually there's nothing.
There's nothing. They can release a statement to say like, hey guys, don't buy this. But it's ultimately up to third-party people, whether they want to buy this BAYC or not.
Yeah, I mean, he bought this because he can do a TV show out of it. But likewise, now that you lost it, unfortunately, it goes both ways, right? Now, that person can use it for a TV show if they really wanted to.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of. I feel bad for him. If anybody lost to BAYC, I would feel bad for them anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's like so much money. But, at the same time, I think, this is a good learning opportunity for people in this space. I mean, BAYCs have been stolen all the time, like left and right. Like the number of BAYC scams, like people being scammed out of the BAYCs that I've heard of is just like astounding, right? It's like...
Yeah, I think if you're in any well-known projects, like BAYC, even Moonbirds, because there's so much money involved in it. I would be more vigilant with like how you store it, and just know that you're probably going to be a target.
Yeah, absolutely.
Naturally, just like it or not, you're going to be a target, and you should be, very cautious in how you handle your storage and all that stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
But let us know what you guys think, whether Seth Green, where you feel bad for Seth Green.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know some people would think that was a stupid move. I'm like 70-30 sort of thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a stupid move. Like to get scammed in the BAYC account like this way. It definitely speaks to like a little bit of negligence. Yeah. But you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
You live, you learn.
So let us know what you guys think. This is also another topic that we thought was pretty interesting because we're involved in film. And Spike Lee, very well-known director, he's setting up his own NFT that helps fund future NFT films and funds other up-and-coming directors and funds their films. He was known for his character as Mars Blackman in She's Gotta Have It. Basically, he's selling these little images of that film as NFTs. 3,945 NFTs, which is very random.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's a very interesting number.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some meaning behind it.
I think there's a special meaning behind it. But basically, whatever he announced this during Gary V's VCon in Minneapolis.
Yeah. So VCon is like for people that don't know, it's like Gary Vaynerchuk's convention, I guess, where he kind of. It's pretty much very like NFT centric these days, I guess. Just because he's really deep in the NFT space, but I mean, it's really cool to see like people like Spike Lee embracing the technology, because I mean he's such a well-respected figure in the creative scene.
Exactly.
Where like it's kind of like, wow, if Spike Lee can go down this road, then it's definitely something like people should be looking into. But
it's going to be called the Visible Project, right? And the fact that he's using like his old film to sort of get funds to support these young directors and allow NFT holders to vote on which films get funded, I think that's a very interesting way of
it's almost like it's almost like an investment, like a mutual fund.
For film.
For film. And
you get to choose which one, like, and that's what's important, right? Like you get to choose which one.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting actually. Now that you meant, like, just thinking more deeply into it, like film has been notoriously difficult to invest in for regular people. Like you just don't invest. Like nobody, like, have you heard of anyone investing in any film? It's like almost never heard of, right?
It's just big.
Yeah, studios. It's so private. Like like the money tends to come from like private institutions and whatnot. because it's almost like if you have a good film, it's almost like guaranteed to make you money, if it's executed well. But it's like now with this whole NFT thing with Web3, it gives people like some exposure to this, like via people like Spike Lee, where you do get some sort of exposure to these like new up and coming like directors. But then also having like some sort of like voting power, which is like also like it's kind of like taking that mutual fund idea and extending it even further, where it's like now you have some leverage, like you can make decisions. I mean, I don't know how that's going to play out, because I don't know how, sometimes people aren't that smart. So
I think what would be interesting, it's hard to predict what it's going to be, because we haven't ever seen something like this before where people have voting power.
It's almost like you buy into like an investment fund, and like all of a sudden you've got voting. I mean, maybe this already exists inside of investment funds, where like collectively the participants can vote on the direction of the fund itself. But this feels like it's way more like exposed than that even. So it'll be interesting to see. One thing that's good about this, I mean, I know Kickstarter, there's like some Kickstarter stuff like Destruno, was it? Did they have a Kickstarter? I don't know if Destruno did a Kickstarter. They might have. I think they I mean, I have to rewatch the But I think there are projects like films that, try to get funding through Kickstarter, right? But sometimes you're just not sure whether this is something that you can trust. Yeah.
I think having someone like Spike Lee behind it sort of gives it makes you feel a little bit
it gives you a bit of validation. There's a bit of validation. I mean, he's got his name, his credibility tied to the project, so
exactly. So
like obviously he'll try to do right by it to protect his integrity.
Exactly.
But it's hard to tell. I mean, there's always risk with any of this stuff when you put your money into something. There's a chance you're not going to make it back. But that's like the game you're signed up to play anyway. Yeah, exactly. And that's why there's like age-old sayings like, don't invest what you can't afford to lose, or
exactly. Like, but I think this is a good way for people, like we've talked about this many times, where the old model of making movies and and paying everything up front to make something that maybe no one even cares about or likes, that's the old way of doing things, and that's how you lose a lot of money. And a lot of people can't start because of that either. Whilst this is a good sort of in between, where the people are voting, so that will show you whether the audience is actually cares about what you're making. So exactly. It gives you like instant feedback almost. It's like, oh, maybe you need to change the story a bit, or maybe you just need to scrap the whole idea. But now you're not investing like hundreds of thousands like in making this film that might not turn out well.
Exactly. And I mean, it's kind of like you're passing some of the risk off to people who are obviously investing, so you have less like risk on your own end. But I guess the biggest risk would be reputational risk for whoever launches something. So that's something to be aware of as well. It's like, if you invest like in an NFT project, you could just get rugged like easily. Like there's no saying like that they're going to follow through with that. But like that's all part of investing, right? You just have to do your own research and figure things out. But I like this idea because like Spike Lee is using his platform, his influence to support other artists.
Exactly.
And that's something that, anytime an artist supports another artist, it's always a win for artists, overall, right? So the more artists support each other, the healthier it's going to be for the art scene. Yeah,
he definitely seems like he wants to move the art form a bit further, like in a new direction, like following it with technology and stuff like that, which is great to hear. And what I notice is also in general, it feels like there's a lot of people that don't believe in NFTs, but you got people who are more considered old heads, like the veterans, who seem like they're the ones who are getting into NFTs. And
I mean, I think really, they can see, like, they've seen how broken some of the models are, and I think it just makes sense once you realize like, oh, there's like a better way to do this. Like where everything we've been doing has been the dumb way up until this point. So maybe there's a better way, and we just have to figure out like how to make this kind of work, how to make this new Web3 model actually viable. Yeah. And I think that's just the biggest question. Is like people aren't 100% sure if it is viable because it's so new still, but I'm glad to see that people are experimenting.
But yeah, it's just, I was just very shocked that it's like all these old heads that are doing, like, for example, Steve Aoki and Snoop Dogg are doing a collab on NFTs, and Tiesto, like, you know, these guys are, you know, I would expect the young generation to be like the ones that, you know, super into it, like really trying to push it forward. But it's like these guys who are seasoned, you know, and they're still pioneering, trying to like, you know, move the artistry forward with technology. And I just find it really, I guess, admirable, and it's cool.
Yeah,
you know?
It is cool. Yeah, because you know, it's too easy as an old guy to like fall into the
trap of being like, okay, like, oh, I like my like how things are done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like I know how everything works already, but so I'm gonna stick to what I already know. But they're almost like it's fun for them too, because they've got nothing to lose. I think that's I mean, they have a lot to lose, like reputationally, but I feel like financially they don't have a lot that they have to lose already. They already have the money, they have the means, and it's almost more exciting and more fun to
try something.
Try something new and try to like do something that nobody's ever done. That's way more like fulfilling, I guess. As a creative person, especially.
I think that's it's awesome. So let us know what you guys think about this topic. And the last thing we're gonna do today is, you know, our regular artist showcase. This is from a person that is very well known in the industry. She creates some crazy stuff. She just released a short on one of her on her project, Figure Got. This person is jesslwiseman, and she's only 20 years old.
And she's insane.
She's like crazy.
This is like, she's a prodigy from like from the future, probably, where she
downloaded all the knowledge.
She's downloaded all the knowledge of all the ages past, and then and probably learned some new things too. But
she said it took her 3 days to do the short.
And I mean, I think
reusable
I believe
stuff.
She's used stuff she's already built, so it's not like it's all built from scratch. But even then, like, it's insane. Like the
quality.
The quality. I mean, the level of texturing. Like she's a master texturer. I'm just gonna put it out there. She's like a senior level texture artist
at 20 years old.
At 20 years old, and I think she's never worked in a studio commercially, as far as I'm aware. She's like an indie artist doing. She's worked for like big brands like Nike and
I think she had something just now.
It's insane stuff. Like I mean, this is her like this is her paintings. I mean,
oh my god,
it's insane. I mean, I don't know what's
20 years old. What the hell?
Yeah, she's on another level. Like, honestly, I don't think I've ever seen
these NBA rings.
This is for MTV EMAs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
she is 20.
I still can't compute in my mind like how she has
this knowledge.
This knowledge, like,
in this artistry.
Like she has. It feels like she has years of experience, and she's only 20. So I don't know what we're doing with our lives, but
at 20, no way. Even if I knew what my path was already, there's no way I could have created this.
Yeah, like even if I had all the skills, I think it would still be a like an insane challenge to put something like this. But anyways, we should probably show it, so people aren't waiting. But just
dude,
keep all the context in mind that it's a 20-year-old girl did this in 3 days.
It looks so real.
That's cool. Do you think that's a mocap?
Yeah, I think that's mocap. Jesus.
I can tell it's 2D fire though.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I was gonna say that I noticed. Jesus. Crazy. And I think it was really cool. Like, just, yeah, obviously, this is amazing. And I also love how, maybe animation probably takes like the longest time. It's almost blurred. So it's like you can cover up like some of the details about that. But then it still tells a story.
So animation is definitely her weakest discipline.
But still better than a lot of people.
Still, yeah, it's still like comparatively in the in terms of the industry, like this looks like it's a mocap clip, so like a Mixamo thing or something. I'm not sure where she got the anim from, but you can tell everything else is lacking a little bit in terms of animation, but just the lighting, But
the thing is, she hit it, like she knows how to hide stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's really important. Like, yeah, and you still can tell what's happening. For the normal audience, it's like, yeah, it's good. Yeah. And I still think it's good. So yeah, it's crazy. This is amazing work. Lighting, texturing, just how much detail there is. Yeah. Everywhere.
And this is like, it's a 1 minute thing. So
yeah,
it's by no means a short, and there's a lot of shots, so you have to think like every shot is its own lighting challenge. So like it's definitely a lot of work to do something like this.
That's so crazy. I just don't like, there's so much stuff. I get noise, like you can easily replicate this and duplicate it and place it stuff, but still this is it looks really good.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I just still can't believe that she's 20. That's the thing. Like, it's not only that, like, it's insane for one person to do this.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's insane, right?
Crazy.
But
yeah,
for one 20-year-old to do this is, like, beyond comprehension to me. So I can't even imagine what she can accomplish when she's, like...
30?
Yeah, when she's 30 and she's had even more years of practice and...
And she's got the hardest part, I think, already with art direction.
Yeah, I'd say so. Like,
I think that's
she has good art direction in terms of like lighting and feel and whatnot. I guess now it's a big question of like, story. Like, can she tell stories? Like, where do you go from here as an artist? If you have all the technical accomplishments, I think the focus then becomes like the the story or the meaning or the idea behind the work that you create.
But guaranteed that she can make something cool. That's
exactly
sure.
So that's a lot more than most people can say.
I mean, she makes me question my life choice, my career choice. Because oh my god,
maybe I wasn't cut out for this.
Oh my god, it's crazy. So check her out on Twitter. I'm sure she has a website as well. So we'll post it in the little section below, and you guys can check her out, because it's really, if you're into CG, if you're into anything like this, you want to see her stuff. It's amazing. It really is. So you know what? I have a theory. Maybe her parents are in the CG field.
That's an interesting theory. I mean,
I kind of base it on like, same with athletes. Usually, if your parent is an athlete, you're exposed to that at a young age, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's potentially true. That is an interesting theory. I don't know. I never thought about it like that, but yeah. But even if it is the case, I'm still blown away.
Oh yeah, of course. But even if because you still have to put in the hours.
Yeah, you still have to put in that. You can't just like be good like all of a sudden. Like I can give you all the books about CG and teach you everything you want to know, but you still have to do the work. You still have to like learn the program, learn the buttons, and I think it's definitely not easy. But yeah, anyways, huge kudos to
Exactly.
to her,
Jess.
and definitely check out her stuff.
Yeah, and with that, we're gonna end this episode. If you like what you saw today, if you like this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next week. Peace. Thanks for watching or listening to our content. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again. Peace.